Howdy folks, Nathan here with the brand new 2024 Hyundai Tucson XRT. And the XRT is sort of a mid-level package, and we've reviewed them before, but this one is all new for this year. No, it's not all that new. Actually, it's basically the same thing as last year, but we're going to talk about what you get for the money. We're going to talk about who competes with this vehicle, because quite a few do. And in addition, we're going to take it for a little drive. So without any further ado, let's talk about design, because there are a couple things I wanted to point out right away. Now, the XRT package gets you a couple things for the money. Among them, you get these 19-inch wheels, which kind of look like wheel covers to me. I'm not a huge fan of these, to be honest with you. Now, the XRT package is supposed to make this look a little bit more roughy-tufty, a little bit more macho, if you will. It doesn't quite do that with me, but it certainly gives you a couple little goodies for the dough, and some of those you can see from out here. That also includes the front-end design. This lower grille section, this whole area actually, is somewhat unique for the XRT. So it does look different right off the bat. In addition, if you come over here and look at the sides, you're going to see this. Woohoo! Step. Yeah, so here's the thing about that step. It's really good if you're Lilliputian in size and you need help hopping up into the vehicle. However, the whole idea of making this thing more off-roady and then putting that on there is sort of strange to me, because you're really dealing with between 8.2 and 8.3 inches of ground clearance, right? But with that in there, you're going to have a little bit of an issue with your breakover angle. Not that you'd be taking this off-road anyway, because it's not built for off-road. It does not have a suspension lift. It does not have off-road tires. It does not have off-road suspension. It doesn't have any additional skid plates either. But what it does have is a unique rear end. This lower section here is definitely unique. And then, if you look up here, one of the things you get in this package, that's right, crossbars. And they can hold up to 165 pounds of weight each. So if you were to put a rooftop tent up there, beware. You might go over the weight if you're a big chunker like me and you hop into that rooftop tent, right? So just keep that in mind. Okay, a couple other things while we're back here. Another thing that you get, or can get, I'm sorry, what you can get with the package, which this one does not have, is tow package. Now, if you get the tow package, the XRT is rated at 2,000 pounds maximum towing. That is on the lower side for this class. You do get unique badging. You can see that XRT that we just showed you. And the Tucson itself, I consider it to be a pretty handsome vehicle. It's sort of unique in the vehicles it competes against, because it has all these sharp edges and it has these giant blisters for the fenders. I mean, look at this. You can see from starting back here, see this line? Now I'm going to jump in front of the camera real quick. Well, you can follow that through here, down here, this big crease. That's like a big fender. And then they do the same thing here. They pull out that fender and make it look beefier. And then, of course, you have these, which always means off-roady to me, right? Now, I'm not trying to put it down. I think it looks good. But you do pay for it, and we're going to get to that at the end of this video. Now, I'm going to pop the hood, and the reason why is because there is one and only one engine choice. Really, the only choice you get with this vehicle is front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. That's right. You can get the XRT package, basically this very vehicle, with front-wheel drive. But the one that they gave us has all-wheel drive and no hood struts. So I'm going to hop in front of the camera here. And we're going to put this little hood prop right there and have a look at that goodness. Now, first of all, you may notice there's no turbocharger on this, and there is no option for a turbocharger on this trim. It's a real shame, because it could really use it. 187 horsepower, 178 pound-feet of torque, coming from a 2.5 liter four-cylinder engine, and there is an 8-speed automatic transmission. Now, this does have all-wheel drive, and there is a center clutch. Yeah, they call it a diff, it's a clutch, that can send up to 50% of the power to the rear wheels. And I'll show you the button when we go inside the vehicle. Now, if you get this trim with all-wheel drive, you will be getting 25 mpg combined, which is okay. If you get it front-wheel drive, however, you're getting up to 28 mpg combined. That's a significant difference. Usually it's more like 1 or 2 mpg, but 3 mpg better for having a front-wheel drive. It's actually pretty notable, right? Okay, so let's talk about the back seat, because that's the big story here. If you buy this, you're most likely a person in a family and you want to haul people or haul stuff. So let's get to the stuff part first. Now, first of all, I wanted to point out something that is kind of a geeky, weird thing. If you look at that seat belt right in front of you, you're going to notice it's tucked in. There's a little tiny notch in there that you can shove it into. I don't know why I think that's so cool. I just think it's cool. Not many people do things like that. Okay, these seats do recline. There you go. And they fold flat. Ba-bloom. Now, it's not completely flat. As you can see, it does pop up a little bit, but for the most part, it's a pretty flat area. But more importantly, it's a big area. Look back there. As you can, if you look at the hatch area, it is pretty big. 38.7 cubic feet of cargo space behind the second row, 74.8 cubic feet of cargo space as you see it here. But here's the biggest question of all, and you have to pull up a little handle here once you lock it in. Yeah, and I'm going to do that. Do I fit? The answer is a resounding yes. Check this out. Yep. Not only does the fat guy fit, but I've got gobs of legroom. It's really good. I wear size 13 shoes or boots, and they fit under the seat with no problem. I have lots of extra legroom. And my headroom is really good. If I had Roman's toupee, which would be scraping the ceiling, maybe, then I would complain about it. But I don't even think that would happen. Yeah, there's some good room. Okay, there's more. You have vents back here and USB. Thank God they're not USB-C. I still haven't converted all my things to USB-C yet, so I'm kind of grateful for that. And then center armrest, cup holders. So the rear seats recline. The legroom is excellent. Headroom is very good. Cargo space is near the very top. So altogether, this vehicle for passenger space and cargo room, definitely leading the class. Let's look at the front though. Now there is a big difference between other trims and this one with this, because you get standard these awesome screens. These are 10.25 inch screens, both of them. And they do something really super cool that I'm going to show you in just a minute. Specifically this one, the front IP. But before we go there, let's quickly talk about the interior. The XRT package gets you this X-Text fake leather. I actually like the synthetic leathers better than the real ones often, because they tend to be, especially in cold temperatures, and today it's just about freezing, it's still very soft. Leather tends to harden a bit with cold temperatures. This area here, you're going to notice heated seats. That's part of the package. This little leather thingy here, part of the package. Leather wrapped steering wheel, part of the package. Why is that a big deal? Because I owned a Hyundai product that doesn't have a leather wrapped steering wheel. And I can tell you from experience, feeling this makes a big difference. The venting positioning on these products is a little bit of a 50-50. I love where these are positioned. These are excellent. These are not. Why are these not? Because they sit so high. They don't really hit the lower section of your body. If you drop them down here, it's just going to bank off this section here. So just an FYI. Also, scratchy materials down here. There is a relatively soft material up here, which is something, hey, yay, that's awesome. But yeah, it's okay here. And then you have this. This is something that Roman and I complain about constantly because we're old grumpy men. The plastic that is used here, they call it piano black, it marks. So when you touch it, and you have to because these are all buttons here, eventually you just leave finger marks. This is also a touch screen. Eventually you'll be leaving finger marks on this as well. So it's not my favorite. I wish they had some other type of plastic here or something other than this. So this is a design feature that I wish they would do away with. Also, if you look straight up, you're going to notice something. No sunroof. That does not come with this package. The digital information here, primo awesome. Very good map. Once again, 10.25-inch screens here and here. Infotainment system works quite well once you get used to it. I really would prefer having a knob or a dial. By the way, the lesser version of this, you can get that. You can actually get these little roller dials for volume and tuning. This, you have to use this, and I'm just not a big fan. Okay, so let's shut that off. All right, so this. Now, there's a little bit of an issue here. I assumed, because it's the digital setup, that it would actually turn into the system that allows you to see from the bottom of the mirrors, little cameras. So when you hit your left or right turn signal, these go away and actually show you the image of what's next to you. It doesn't do that on this, which is a real shame. So all that joy I was holding deep within my heart for the XRT has dropped a level. With that being said, you still have Hyundai's excellent controls. I do think that their steering wheel controls are on the higher end in terms of usability, good tactile feel, and very good location. So that's wonderful. One final note for some of you guys. I was talking about some of the cheap materials they use, and they do use some of them, but I do like this. This almost feels like denim, and it's soft. I like this. You know, if you have a hangnail, you can take care of that. That's kind of cool. Standard gear lever here. Thank you. I do not like buttons, which are available in other Hyundai Kia products. I much prefer a proper gear lever. Here's the drive modes. Now, if I go into sport, right there, everything turns red. So that means like it's fast. It's not. But I mean, it looks cool. I don't think it does anything other than make maybe the throttle a little bit more responsive. But everything's red, so sport. Then there's smart, and that gives you that little thing there. I do like these gauges. They're nice and clear. It's cool looking for digital. And then snow, it's just, okay, so no real change in the gauges, but snow changes the programming, the algorithm, if you will, of the transmission system, which starts you off in second gear, and it also changes the traction control settings in general. That's including braking. So all of that changes. And then, of course, there's a normal mode, which I don't really understand why people would do normal mode. I'd just like leave it in smart mode most of the time, but whatever. So that's what this does. Now, what about lock? Well, lock, okay. Boom, I'm going to hit it, and then you see this little light pop up there. Now, it's not a diff. It's essentially a clutch. It's right around where my elbow is, I think. And what it does is it's feeding power, right now, feeding power to the rear wheels. When I accelerate, even on dry pavement or whatever, as long as it's at low speed, it's going to say, oh, okay, you want power to the rear wheels? I'm immediately going to give it to you, but you're not going to get it at super high speeds the same way you would with your all-wheel drive system. Essentially, this is to get you out of a sticky situation. So it's immediately giving around 50% of that power to the rear. Now, how can you tell? Well, if you go through these settings, I believe, hold on, you go back to that, and I think if you do a little bit of that, there we go. When I start driving, you're going to see that these indicate how much traction are going to each wheel. I really like that they do that. They're not the only ones to do it, Hyundai, but it's just really cool that they do that. Okay, finally, let's just go over one or two more things. Heating, air conditioning controls. They're also on these little flat planes here, no buttons. If you get the base model version of this, you get buttons. And that's kind of my thing, like, well, then get the base model, right? Okay, now we're in drive. By the way, if you flip this over to that, then you can do your manual. Yeah, okay. Now we're cruising along. Remember I was telling you about immediate power? See? It's immediately showing that power going to the rear wheels. Accelerate, more power, less power. Stuff like that. And then turn here. This car does everything well, but it doesn't really excel at anything in particular. And that's one of the issues I have, because when I tell you what the price is on this, I think you guys are going to be a little bit on the, wait a minute, I could get A, B, C, or D for that money. And that's kind of where my head is as well. They're well put together, no squeaks, no rattles. I've owned a Hyundai product for a year and I beat the crap out of it, and it's still pretty stout. With that being said, many of you will acknowledge that they've had some problems in the past with certain reliability issues, which might make some of you guys question it. And then, in addition, and this is an important part, yes, Hyundai and Kia have some of the best warranties out there. 10 years, 100,000 miles powertrain. And that in itself makes them stand out a little bit. And it's one of the smartest things they could have done marketing-wise. However, it may not be the best thing for everybody, because then there's that question of, well, wait a minute. If I buy something that has higher quality, I don't know, let's just throw some names out there, Honda or perhaps Toyota, then do I need that big fat warranty? Well, Honda and Toyota say no. And that's something you guys need to keep in mind as well. A couple final notes here. Acceleration is not brisk, it is okay. Handling is quite good. I really give it up to their tuning. They do a great job with making these things handle well. But considering what this car is, and what it was built for, it's not doing anything that really stands out. Okay, I'm going to accelerate hard here. Yeah. You hear a whole bunch of stuff happening, but you're really not moving that fast. It just sounds like you're going to go real fast. Yeah, I'm not disappointed. I'm just not elated. Okay? All right, let's recap. This is an XRT version of the Tucson, and as such, it gives you some exterior little bits, gives you those side steps, the roof, some goodies up here, some goodies in the back, a little bit of badging, a couple interior goodies. All right. I have here the sticker. This vehicle, MSRP, $37,120. Now, don't spit your coffee out on the screen. But I wouldn't blame you if you did, because that's a little too much money for this vehicle as far as I'm concerned. Especially because if you get the absolute base model, the SE, it's $27,000 and change, right? Granted, that's front-wheel drive and there's very few goodies on it. But here's the problem. The Honda CR-V all-wheel drive hybrid sport, which has more power, gets better mileage, and arguably better packaged, frankly, with the exception of some of the tech that this has. That comes in at around $36,000. What about the Toyota? Yeah, the RAV4 Adventure Package, which is very similar to this in terms of it gives you a couple extra goodies, but it's really not meant for off-roading, but it kind of sort of looks like it. Well, that one, which by the way puts out more power, oh boy, yeah, less money than this, about $36,000. And that's with some goodies. All right. What about my favorite? Mazda. And it is my favorite in terms of driving feel and stuff like that. Well, the CX-5 and the CX-50 are both less expensive than this on their base models. But even if you get the turbo version, then they match this price. And the turbos are just exceptional and fun. So that brings up the question, why so much money? The warranty? Yeah, sorry guys, I can't give you a great answer on that one, but this is what I can say. So far, in my experience, Hyundai products have been pretty stout, and I think that they are solid packages. It's a real question of whether or not you want peace of mind with the warranty, or if you want to stick with the ones that are known for being quality. I think that's really the question there. Personally speaking, if they're going to call it an XRT, give it a lift and some tires, guys. Come on. All right. For the Fastlane Car and all 7 of our channels, this is Nathan. I'll see you next time.